We're going to take a look now at some drawings that I've taken from another real master plan that I've worked on, and in this particular case these are from proposals for a technical college. What I want to show you with this one is some aspects of using the 3D features of MicroGDS, and also the ability to integrate multiple versions of the master plan into the same file. So for example, we were asked to look at alternative proposals for working on this technical college campus. Some of these buildings are existing and some of them are new, and this was a series of proposals to show alternatives for working with the existing building stock, and various options on extending and expanding with new stock and in demolishing and replacing existing buildings. So this is option B. As we can see, this is the one that's open now, but we've also got an option A, which is slightly different. So instead of the big block in the centre, we have an atrium infill there, and option C, which involves complete demolition of the this end of the site and these buildings here, and a whole new set of buildings. This was a very early version of the master plan proposals, and it's starting to look a little bit more elaborate, but it really is just a very basic model. These louvers here, which are easily replicated, are just simple rectangles that have been superimposed over the model. If we return to our first view, our option B view, what we've got here is a series of blocks, basically just simple slabs that represent the use areas that the technical college required. So in their particular plan for extending and expanding the college, they had a good idea of the areas that they needed to maintain in the finished scheme, and as you can see, the site itself is very restricted, this main campus, although there are other parts of the site that I'm not going to show you today. And what we did, we just set these up in a way that allowed us to demonstrate these particular uses using thematic mapping, but this time in a 3D sense. So for example, if we look at what we've got here, we can look at our first of all our additional areas. So this is all our new build, but then we demonstrated how to display the data by faculty. So each of those individual colours represents a different faculty or a different use for the building. The dark pink areas, for example, are all service buildings. So this is the main plant structure here, and then we've got plant structures on the roofs of these various buildings. And we also did a version that showed the phasing of this, because that was an important part of this particular master plan. The technical college required to maintain full function during all of the proposed building works. So each of these different colours represents a different stage in the programme. And again, this is done simply by attributes that are added to the various objects that represent the blocks, simple blocks that are displayed in 3D here. This was a perfect example of where 2D wouldn't be enough to convey the information that we needed to supply. So we've got data which shows the department that the element belongs to, the faculty that is the parent faculty for the individual department, and the construction phase for the particular element. Creating the 3D shapes is really a very simple operation. You just need to extrude the outline of the individual floor plates. So for example, if we go to our existing buildings plan here, where I've already done that, if I just turn off the layers where I've created the solids, so that we can reveal the original shapes, we need to make sure that the Z lock is off, which allows us to work in 3D as opposed to the 2D drawing. You just select the plate that you're interested in turning into a solid, and just do solid, construct, extrude, and just give the positions for the overall height. And you could do that for each of the other elements in the scene. Until you've completed the whole thing. Simple as that. So we'll close that file down without saving it, and we'll move on to the next stage. For our next example, we're going to look at another real master planning project that I've been involved with, and this time this is for an industrial complex for a major international company, showing their headquarters campus and the various stages of development that have already been completed and some that are planned for the coming years. You can see that we've actually got this at a much more advanced stage than anything we've looked at previously, so we've got a fairly high level of detail, and in fact MicroGDS allows you to fully integrate all of your data at every level of detail. So from our simple block outlines right the way through to the fully detailed construction, we can use the same data set all the time. That means that you're not managing multiple different data sets, and you can keep everything fully integrated and up to date at all stages of your project. For example, if we zoom in to, let's say, this corner here, you'll see that the level of detail that we have here is quite phenomenal in the drawing, and MicroGDS is quite happily handling all of that data. What we're going to do here is we're going to set up some linking between our master plan database, the graphical database here, and some external applications. In this case we're going to use OLE technology to link the data, and that's object linking and embedded, and any application that supports OLE can be used for this. So something like Microsoft Office, or in the first example we're going to use OpenOffice, can be used for managing this data, and we're going to put the footprint areas from the master plan into our spreadsheet so that we can generate a simple schedule. I've set up an areas drawing already, and you'll see that we've actually altered the orientation slightly so it better suits the screen layout, and it's opened up already with that orientation correctly set, so the things like the orientation and the axes position can be set up for each individual view that you work with. Now we'll first of all zoom into the area that we're really interested in, which is all of these nicely coloured polygons, one footprint for each of the different existing and planned phases of our development, and we can make sure we've got nothing selected. So the way we do that is just press an F8 key in this case, or F10, which puts me into the object mode, and we do edit copy, and with nothing selected, edit copy will actually create a copy of the drawing itself on the clipboard. Switch to our spreadsheet, and I've set up a fairly simple spreadsheet here just as an example of scheduling the areas, and select the cell where we want to place the drawing, top left hand corner of the drawing, and we right click and paste special, select MicroGDS document, which is the default selection anyway, and MicroGDS data is now being imported into the spreadsheet. It'll take just a few seconds to do that, and it should in a moment display the view that we've just zoomed into on our drawing. There we go. Okay, so we're seeing the same view that we have on our drawing. So if we just close that down, you'll see that that's the view that we've just set up there.